What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Right. If they do feel like you're being salesy, you're not going to get them as a client. What's going to happen if you don't do it? You're not going to get them as a client.
Correct.
Either way, you're not going to get it's only upside.
Yeah.
Like you're either not going to get them for doing nothing or for being salesy, but if you do it, you have the chance.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to another Real Estate First Friday. My name is Matthew Hodge, Executive Vice President, joined by my co-EVP, Fermin, and Keith Pike, one of our newest members to the LPT family, was previously with a different brand, 4 offices here. We are actually in Arkansas, which, by the way, Lewis, can you say Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Because you were saying it funny yesterday.
Was I really?
Yeah. It was like you were almost like not saying the back part of it. And I read that it's illegal to not, or is it? Not pronounce it correct.
Keith, did I sound okay, Keith?
You sounded okay.
All right. Thank you. You're the only one that caught it. I think you had that. You were feeling.
Yeah. I started researching. I'm like, what are the penalties first? So we're here locally and have had a fantastic week, a great couple of days, and celebrating with his team their accomplishments for 2025 and Q4, and really had an opportunity to understand the culture here, which is absolutely amazing. And I think one of the nicest places on this planet that I have been has been here in Arkansas. Everyone has been so kind to us with words and hugs and just such a warm welcome.
Southern hospitality.
Southern hospitality, man, at its finest. And so we felt literally every bit of it, and had the opportunity to go out with your staff and be a part of the word summary, like I said yesterday. So it's been really a great time. But in that, we had the opportunity to speak with agents about what they're doing. And so after your award ceremony yesterday, we had some top agents that some of the things that you awarded was transaction volume, amount of money made. And so your top agent, solo agent, was 95 transactions last year in a year that's been incredibly difficult. And so we want to talk to you about what you're seeing from your most productive agents. We had your top producing agents over $500,000 in commission. We want to talk about what she's doing, and then just kind of how you're seeing the playing field. So if you don't know Keith Pike, I'll give you actually an opportunity to kind of talk about your business a little bit, how long you've been here, amount of transactions you do per year, and the transition to LPT.
Yeah, sure. So I'm born and raised in Arkansas, and I've been in real estate since 2003 or 2004. So quite a long time, but I've never been a full-time agent. I started as a college student, and then after college, I became a computer programmer, and I went and got my master's in business, and I went and got my law degree. So real estate was always kind of a secondary thing that I did. And then in 2010, I graduated from law school, became a full-time attorney, and then went to work at a law firm. And in 2015, I decided, I don't know why, I thought this was a great idea. I thought, you know what, I'm going to launch a real estate office under a brand name, and I did, and it turned into 4 offices, and 150 plus agents, and we became number 1 in our market. So it all happened very quickly. It was a kind of a meteoric rise, and it was all very organic, no acquisitions, and it was no purchasing leads. It was all very traditional real estate work, and it's been great. Yeah.
How many transactions did you guys do in 2025?
Over 1,900.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, gives you an idea of the expertise and kind of the things that you've seen. Again, all organic work, which is what we love, because we know that LPT's products and tools really align with that. Of course, we encourage you to build your business the way that you see fit. And if third-party leads are your jam, cool. We want to give you the opportunity and the tools and resources to convert that at the highest level. That's not what you're doing, and you want to kind of see some of those grassroots, those relationship building things that can do. That's what we're going to talk through today. So, Lewis, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, one of the first things that struck us when we met your community and met your group is just how much love there is for one another. Like, it really reminded us, as you know, that to the LPT community, where we're all here to help each other. Yesterday, all the agents, as they were receiving awards, there was these cowbells that were going off, these claps, the standing ovations. And what's crazy is your agents are technically in competition with with each other, right? Because they're all in a in the same market, in the same localized market, but they're all there still to support one another and support their successes and support their growth. Which is such a beautiful.
I mean, our culture is collaboration over competition, and we celebrate each other's success. And, these are, traditionally you would think that they would be competing with each other, but they're not. Like, they help each other, and we're working, even when they're on the other side of transactions against each other. Like, you have the same common goal to like get that house sold, right? And agents can't do this business alone. They need their associates and their coworkers in the office sometimes to hold open houses for them, or to show a property if they're out of town, or to unlock a door for somebody because they've double booked appointments. If you are running in a silo of by yourself and everyone's your enemy and everyone's your competitor, you're not going to make it in this business.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's kind of dive into some of the things that are making your agents so successful, because of activity. The awards that you were giving were incredible. Again, like 95 transactions as a solo agent.
Yeah, he was doing incredible. A young guy too.
Yeah. A couple years in the business. And so I know you had other people that were almost to that level. So, what are you seeing? Like, what is someone who is doing 95 transactions? Like, they're obviously doing something right. And if that's your version of success, if you want to do more transactions, what would you direct our agents to do?
Those top agents that were winning the awards, I do in-person training at my office every Thursday. Those agents are coming to those trainings. And a lot of our trainings are, some of them are skill, a lot of them are mindset, because really, like, sales of any business is 10% skills, 90% mindset. Most agents know what to do, right? They know the traditional places where you get business from. For sale by owners, expireds, online leads, working your network in your sphere, and open houses. They just don't. They have this conversation between their ears that's happening that is telling them that open houses don't work, or that for sale by owners don't want to use agents, and that's why they're doing for sale by owner, or expired listings are hostile because they tried to use an agent and they were dissatisfied with them, so they don't want to use an agent anymore. They tell themselves so many things to talk themselves out of success, right? And the agents that are coming to trainings and agent development, they are kind of clearing their mind of that kind of clutter, and it helps them get out of their own way. And training, I call it training. It's more like coaching. If you think about it, like every NFL player, every NHL player, every NBA player, they all have coaches. The CEOs of all the major real estate brands, they all have coaches. Like the CEOs of most Fortune 100 companies, they all have some sort of form of coaching. And real estate agents are like, nah, I know plenty. I know everything already. Right?
I don't need that.
Right. But there's, but they're focused on, they think that they don't need coaching because they already know how to sell real estate. They're focused on the skill set of it. And that's only 10% of the business.
Right.
I've had a coach since 2019. So, this is my 7th year of, coaching with John Cheplack. It is, it's a very necessary and integral part, I think, of any business, of any industry, to have somebody to help you get even just 1 inch better.
Yeah.
Right. Those, like NFL players, they rewatch their games, not because they don't know what to do, but because they need to see what they did and can they just get 1 inch further down,
Yeah.
It's, we just need to get 1% better in real estate, because that adds up. It compounds. There's a compound effect of it.
And what's crazy is, like, talking yourself out of success. It's so easy to do inside of this business, and it's that stifling effect of feeling comfortable. Like, we always want to revert to what feels comfortable, but the reality is, when we revert to that, all we're doing is stifling our growth. It feels great because we're not putting in that hard work. We're just doing what's comfortable inside of our day-to-day practices, but we are limiting our ability to grow. And if we look at, a lot of us that grew our businesses historically, we started from a place of doing the hard work, going out there, doing the open houses, doing these things. And then there are instances where we feel like we've outgrown that. We no longer need to do it. We no longer need to go out there and door knock and do these hard efforts. And we tell ourselves, hey, maybe we're too good to do these things. But the reality is those things work. They did work. They have worked for you. And then there's agents who say those things can't work. I've never even tried it. I never tried the door knocking. How could it work? And the reality is there are so many agents who have built very successful businesses by implementing these things and being a part of, again, the community and the coaching calls and hearing the success stories of others who have applied these things inside of their businesses. It's refreshing because we hear the success as, hey, this could work. If I apply it, I could find successes in taking those types of actions.
I agree. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, agents have told me that open houses don't work. And I've gone to seminars and there's panels of people and like they're talking about where they get business from. And they'll be asked if they do open houses. And they're like, no, open houses are, they're really for the seller to so that the seller thinks that we're doing something. But agents are using it to try to get buyers. Like open houses work. We had an agent that in 1 year closed $10.5 million in Arkansas, just from open houses. That was her only strategy. She was a relatively new agent in her 80s, and she was going and door knocking the neighborhood and be like, hey, I'm gonna hold this house open. And she was putting out the signs on Wednesday saying that, the open house was happening. She did it every Sunday, even Mother's Day and Father's Day. She never missed. And because I did a training on open houses and said, you need to do 48 open houses a year, like every Sunday, because we don't know when buyers are going to show up to open houses. Like nobody's been able to predict that. If it's raining, you think, oh, they're not going to come. Maybe that's the day they all come, right? On a Mother's Day, Father's Day, that's when they all go. They have nothing to do, right? And you have to do it every Sunday. And if you did it one Sunday, nobody's going to show up. Second Sunday, maybe nobody shows up. Third Sunday, maybe fourth Sunday, 15 people show up. It's unpredictable, right? If you only did it the first, second, and third and gave up, you're done. But if you just did it one more week, a bunch of people are going to show up, right? That's what she did. And so it made sense to her, right? I remember she was sitting right here. I was doing training. I was asking her what she was doing. And she was like, I'm door knocking and I'm putting the sign out on Wednesday, and I'm she's doing it. I do it every Sunday, and everyone's like, well, are you really? And she's like, what? We're not supposed to do that? Like, am I doing something wrong? She was like, I was just following the system, right? But everyone else had told themselves that doesn't work, and that, if I go and door knock, that people are going to feel bothered, or they're going to not want somebody approaching their house. And, she did not have those beliefs, and it worked for her. And in fact, she held an open house for me on a listing that I personally had. I usually don't sell, but one of my really good friends wanted to list his house, and I listed it, and she wanted to hold it open, and she did. And she made everybody sign in when they came in. And a lot of agents don't like to do sign-in sheets because they feel like the potential buyers don't want to fill that out, but she had them fill it out. And she did exactly what she was supposed to do, which is every time that a listing came up that was in that price range, she would email out on that list of everybody that came to that open house. And about 3 months later, this lady called her and said, hey, you probably don't remember us, but we met you in an open house 3 months ago, and we thought we were going to be staying in town, but my husband is being relocated to Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and we need you to come list our house. And it was a $600,000 listing.
Yeah.
And so she listed it, and then she went and door knocked the neighborhood on the day that she put the sign out, and 2 houses down, she door knocked and said, hey, I'm about to list this house. And that lady that answered the door said, oh my gosh, I've always been in love with that house. That lady bought the house. So my agent got both sides of that, listed her $500 and something thousand house, and then referred the seller down to Ocean Springs, Mississippi for an agent, and got a referral fee for it. And the total of that, from all of that open houses, she made $60-something thousand for a 2-hour Sunday. And the seller said, we chose you because out of every open house, we went to a lot of open houses and saw a lot of houses, and you're the only agent that ever emailed us and told us of new listings coming up. And every time you had a listing, we were on that email list, and we told ourselves, this is an agent that's going to market our property, because none of these other agents were doing that, and they're not going to be marketing properties. And that's why they chose her. The open houses aren't working because you're not working it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's incredible. And it's funny because, again, a lot of what you're saying is you getting past the mindset of all the things that you don't want to do. Like, oh, I don't want to feel like a salesperson when this person walks inside of this house, and that's what it's going to feel like if I try to ask them for this information. Or I don't want to do this open house because I don't, like you come up with all these excuses in your mind as to why you don't want to do it, which is exactly what you were talking about. But if you eliminate all that and you just do the work, then it gives you the opportunity to have this type of experience. And this is not going to say that every single time that you do that, you're going to have this glorious moment of all, but you're never going to have that if you don't do this, so it is 100% necessary.
What's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Right.
If they do feel like you're being salesy, you're not going to get them as a client. What's going to happen if you don't do it? You're not going to get them as a client.
Correct.
Either way, you're not going to get, it's only upside.
Yeah.
Like,
only
you're
upside.
not going to get them for doing nothing or for being salesy. But if you do it, you have the chance.
Correct. Yeah, that's the only way to have the chance. And like, I see your glorious moment situation. Like, look, she hosted an open house 3 or 4 months prior to the glorious moment happening. And that's hard, right? Like, you think that you're out there doing these activities and they're not working, but you don't know where you've planted that seed. You don't know where that seed is blossoming, and it's going to come. You just got to keep doing that work, and it's going to compound over time.
Yeah, we're living in the Amazon Prime era. We want things in 2-day delivery. And right, if it's not happening within 2 days, we give up on it. Like, I mean, people famously give up on Zillow leads and Realtor.com leads because that person isn't immediately going to buy. They wouldn't have been online more than likely if it wasn't in the back of their mind that they were going to buy a property. And they will try one time to reach out to that lead, and then they give up. And they're like, oh, well, that was a dud. That was a dead lead. Statistically, there's a large portion of them that end up buying. They may not buy for 3 or 4 or 6 months, right? Agents are impatient. They want 2-day delivery, and they don't want a 6-month delivery. It's, every seminar I've gone to says you need to reach out to those people 15. It used to be 15. It was 7 times, and then it turned into 15, 16 times. I think now it's like 32 times that you're supposed to follow up with these people. And I've been there myself, because I went to look at a car, and I went to a dealership, and I was looking for a BMW at the time, and a certain X5. And I contacted that salesperson, told him exactly what I wanted. And for months and months and months, every time a X5 came on their lot, he would send me a picture. And I was busy, and it wasn't the one I wanted, and so I didn't respond. And this went on for maybe a year. And then finally one did, and I went and bought it from him. Mm-hmm. All the other car lots that I went to, the salespeople gave up on me after I didn't respond after 1 or 2 times. And his name was Ryan, and he didn't. And I bought 2 cars from him over the years just because of his follow-up game, right? A lot of agents think I'm bothering that person. If they're not responding, that means that they're not interested. No, they're just not interested right now, or that might not be the right house for them. When the right one comes up, they'll reach out and they'll say like, "Hey, I'm ready." I wasn't ready. Yeah. When I got ready, I bought.
What would you say if you're saying, okay, I get it, I need to continue to have a better follow-up, and I'm going to get past the mental hurdle of saying that my follow-up is annoying to you, you're just not ready, and so what I'm checking, that's not clicking quite yet. We're not there yet. But I want to be in this position where I'm following up. You think about me when you finally do have that need. What's the best way to approach that without, I guess I would say, going overboard or, actually exhausting the relationship or irritating the person?
You need to be approaching this person as not you're trying to sell them on something, but that you're trying to help them, right? If you're not helping them, they could get swindled by a shady agent or somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. If you know what you're doing, I think you have a duty and an obligation to make sure that this person is taken care of, right? And if you come at it with that mindset and that thought pattern, the way that you're approaching them and the way that you're talking to them, it is out of a place of being a servant and being helpful. And so you won't cross that line because of the way that you're approaching it internally in your mind, right?
Great answer. And I think that starts with, we always say, like, you can't put your ambitions over the people that you serve, meaning like, hey, I'm just trying to get paid. So if I get you this house and I'm going to get paid, if you do it that way, genuinely, it starts to erode the action.
Clients they can smell commission breath.
Oh yeah.
A mile away. They can also sense when you're being authentic, and that when you're wanting to help them and you're wanting to make things easier for them and you're wanting to maybe get them out of a bad situation with their house. If their house is for sale by owner, they need to sell it for some reason, right? They either need the money, they're getting a divorce, they're relocating. There's some reason that they need help. They haven't found an agent yet that they have found value in, right? Everyone's willing to pay for value. I can go down to, there's a line around Starbucks to pay $6 for coffee. I've got coffee right over there that my agents can use for free. And I can't tell you how many of them still go to Starbucks. We went to Scooters, 2 days ago and paid, $8 for a coffee. There was value in it.
Yeah.
And I think we went just because when you order, they say, scoot around to the window, please. And we were willing to pay for that experience, right? People are willing to pay for experiences. They're willing to pay for value. And if you're providing value and you're providing experiences, they'll pay for it every time.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you talked about authenticity, and you have an agent. I met her yesterday, Lewis, and I met her yesterday. We took a photo with her by her car. She had her car wrapped, and it's like pink and blue, and that same color as her hair, and she's just really catering to her niche. And I thought that was so cool, her individual kind of approach to it. And her business has expanded since she's, I guess, started to put more of her own personality out there. What would you say for utilizing that as a way to grow your business?
Authenticity sells. You're talking about Tamara McMahon, and she started with me as a brand new agent, and she came into my office and to interview, and she has tattoos, and she had, her hair was, pink, and right now half of her hair is pink and half of it's blonde, and that's what she has she has her picture on the side of her car. And her hair was pink, and she had piercings, and she said, do I need to change all this? Do I need to cover up the tattoos, take out the piercings, dye my hair? And I said, if you're okay knowing that there are going to be a demographic of people that aren't going to want to use you, no, you don't have to change anything. I'm not going to force you to do anything. If you want to lean in and you want to, the people that affiliate with your tattoos and your piercings, and if those are your people,
yeah,
and I will fully support you doing that. And she sat there for a second and she said, that's what I want to do. And she did. And so she is just her authentic self on social media. She's the kindest, sweetest person. You'll see her like saving turtles on social media, so like they don't get hit by cars. And there are definitely people that might be detractors that might make some sort of negative comment on social media. But she has a huge following that will, they're almost, like Taylor Swift, and they're, if you say anything negative about, Taylor, I'm not saying anything negative. Don't come after me. If you say anything negative, the Swifties come after you. Like she has, her defenders as well. So it's and people like to, they like to connect with somebody in an authentic way.
Yeah, that's right. So this is her, this is us yesterday.
Yeah.
And so you can see her car in her background, her wrap. She's got a cat with a little cowboy hat on it.
That's her cat.
Yeah.
He is really wearing a cowboy hat, right? And
that cat's a star. Oh, cool.
Yeah. That cat's on her billboards. Yeah.
No, I mean, the leaning in on your authentic self is such a powerful move, and it accomplishes so much inside of your business and inside of yourself, right? Like, number one, you're going to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not, acting, you're marketing that you're going to go out there. You're not trying to force something that doesn't feel right. You're not trying to do these scripts and be this persona that doesn't lean into your personality. So you're going to wake up every single day loving what you do because you are doing it from the lens in which you love. And then in real estate, this is a trust transfer business. What does that mean? It means when we're out there prospecting customers, typically there will reach a point in the prospecting where the customer trusts you. And at that moment, you've now won the client over. So imagine the advantages that you have when you are attracting your people. You're attracting the right people through your authenticity. Now you're no longer competing for commissions or how quickly can I get to you or, what price point am I going to list your price, your property at, you're now competing against personality and who you are as a person, which the agent who doesn't have that, they are totally at a loss. They'll be totally behind the 8 ball. So you are able to now have that jump start, to captivate that audience that you truly want to captivate.
A lot of people have natural sales skepticism, and they build these barriers and these walls up. And the quickest way to bring that down is to be authentic with them, right? Because if they feel that, it builds that trust. And then that wall goes away, right? That skepticism of you're just trying to sell me something goes away. Absolutely. That's why authenticity sells.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I kind of want to touch on one last thing before we wrap up here. And so you talk about the mindset of the agent. It's 10% skill. It's 90% mindset. If you think it's not going to work, it certainly is not going to work. If you think it will work, that's the only path to it, some point working, right? So we got that concept. We think about all the things that limits you from, and so we're going to move past that. We have this authentic approach. Hey, some people are going to choose not to work with you, but some people will, and that's going to be your people. You're not going to have to convince them. You're not going to have to, that's going to be your people. So you find your tribe. I was speaking with a group last week, and at the end of the call, they said, hey, what's working for people right now? We're thinking about growing our business. I said, what's really working for people, in my opinion, at the moment, the ones that I see kind of really accelerating in today's market, is that they're picking a certain type of transaction or customer or demographic that they want to serve. Maybe I want to serve, veterans or first-time home buyers or waterfront properties. They're becoming an expert at some type of property or transaction type. Or they're going to a sphere group where they're saying, hey, I'm really into saving turtles. And so when, someone else saves a turtle, they think of me, and that becomes they're finding their tribe. And so with that, I just kind of put that into context. So with that being said, all of your top producers, they're obviously doing one of those things. There's something very narrow that they're doing that they're becoming an expert at. They're focusing all their energy there. What would you say that is right now for our agents? Like if they're like, hey, I want more transactions because that's my version of success, what would you say is like the one easy button, go do this?
I mean, honestly, real estate is not simple, but it is basic. It is like I said earlier, we're not purchasing third-party leads. I think there is a place for third-party leads to supplement your business. You should know. I don't think you should ever rely solely on third-party leads, because that faucet can be turned off and your business evaporates. But it's very basic, like working for several owners, working expires, and doing open houses. Work in your sphere of influence. We don't work. Look, our sphere of influence is huge. There's a whole. That's probably most people's largest untapped pool of business, their friends and family, and the people that they know, and they don't want to be salesy to those people. And so they don't do the things that they need to do, such as doing pop buys and thank you notes and the constant reminders that, like, hey, I'm in this business and I can't help you. I think that, like, getting back to like the basics and not trying to find that easy button and not trying to find AI is not going to solve all your problems. So a software that's $29 a month or $99 a month, that's not going to suddenly turn you into a top agent. The top agents are doing the basic things, right? They're doing all the basic things, but they're getting out of their own way. They're getting out of their mindset of my friends and family and people I go to church with and people in my community are going to feel bothered by me, talking about real estate, or they're good at. No, listen, everyone has a house that they live in, right? Everyone at some point wants to sell and upgrade to a different house. They need proper guidance from someone. And if you are a secret agent and not letting people know that you are an expert in this field, they're not going to use you because they don't know whether you're doing this full time or not, 'cause you're never talking about it, right? So, I think that that's the biggest thing, being out there and not being a secret agent. Most agents are secret agents. I'll get on people's Facebook page and I'll be like, is this person still in real estate? Because I haven't seen any posts about it, right? And I think that also you can go overboard on the other side too, is like every post is a listing, right? I don't think that that's the way to go either. I think that the way to go is education. We just went through a massive industry change where a big lawsuit attacked our industry because they thought that we were overcharging agents. And I think that was our fault. I think that we made things look too easy. And we weren't educating people about all the things that we do and all the value that we provide, right? We were just doing it and not talking about it. And we were never telling all the clients, like all the late nights that we were working and all the miracles that we were performing behind the scenes to earn that commission, because like, you do the math, we're probably making $4 an hour, right? But like, externally, everyone's like, oh, they're getting paid too much. Well, not really. So we are doing a horrible job explaining what we're doing and educating our friends and family and educating the community about the ways that we can help them and all the work that we're putting into it.
Agreed. All right. Well, cool. Well, we appreciate this time here. We appreciate our visit here in Arkansas and you opening up, your team opening up with Welcome Arms, giving us an opportunity to learn about them and their business and the way that they do it and just feeling the really culture and the vibe here. It's been fantastic. So we will definitely come back again. Yeah. Number one team, guys, in Arkansas. So a lot to learn from this group. And, I would just say, reach out, because as new people continue to come inside the LPT ecosystem, it gives you access to people who are maybe doing things the way that you want to be doing, or an opportunity to learn from someone who's doing something completely different than you. And as we continue to expand our geography and the entrepreneurs that are coming onto this platform, we would love, to continue to have that connectivity between all our agents. So with that being said, we are cut it here. We will see you guys on Motivational Monday. We'll be breaking down the market. Robert's got a couple of things that we're going to be talking about. I think we may be unveiling something, but it may not be this week, so I don't want to talk about it too soon.
You dropped a tease, but maybe not a tease.
Maybe not a tease, yeah. So tune in to find out. So we'll see you on Motivational Monday, led by myself and Robert Palmer, and have a blessed and prosperous weekend, guys.